Good evening. I'm Lydia Serrana. We have some breaking news tonight for you. Right now, the United States is carrying out new strikes against the Houthi rebels. The United States and Britain striking at least 30 targets in Yemen today in its second wave of assaults. This latest round of strikes were launched by ships and fighter jets. U.S. officials say the Houthi targets were in now 10 different locations. This follows last night's strikes in Iraq and Syria against Iranian-linked facilities in retaliation for the drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 soldiers last week. Today's strikes are part 2 of the multi-tiered response vowed by the Pentagon and the Biden administration. Joining me right now is retired Air Force Brigadier General Blaine Holt. Also with us, former Undersecretary of Defense Robert Wilkie. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen.
Sure.
Great to be with you.
General Holt, what does this second wave mean?
Well, we're going to get into a more sustainable air campaign now. That's what we see. So last night was all about a strategic show of force with a long-haul bomber mission. These are more tactical birds. We're talking about fighter jets, and we're talking about ships that have cruise missiles on them to hit targets. Tonight's strikes are ongoing right now as we speak. It might be more than 30. We'll have to see. But what I think we're going to find out from what I see being hit is we're going after command and control facilities. We're going after their ability to launch attacks. My hope is that this time we're not alerting them in advance to those attacks, that the element of surprise and not knowing when America's going to hit you is coming back into that. That's the concept of warfare we want to see. But we're not going to know until the morning about what the battle damage assessment looks like. But you can be sure that we will get a readout on that.
Right. And Secretary Wilkie, we talked about this also last night. We've been continuing to follow these retaliatory strikes conducted by U.S. forces against Iranian-backed militant groups. Why did President Biden wait almost a week? Didn't that give the rats a chance to scurry and hide?
Well, absolutely. And you and I talked about this last night. For a week, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard commanders made a quick exit back to Iran. Assets that the terrorist groups had were moved to safer locations. This has been the problem with the Biden administration all along. The Iranians don't fear escalation because Biden is afraid to escalate. And just to put this in context with the Yemenis, this band of bandits has reduced the traffic in the world's second busiest sea lanes by 60%. That's going to hit us in the pocketbook in the months to come, as well as our allies. And these people should have been attacked months ago and wiped out. But again, I'll go back to something you said last night. The focus of this is still not the right place. The focus of this needs to be Iranian assets, Iranian ships in the Red Sea, any Iranian vessels or planes that are near our ships, as Ronald Reagan did, sink them, put them at the bottom of the Red Sea or the Arabian Sea, and send a message to the Ayatollahs, as Donald Trump would have sent, who's next? That's the kind of deterrence we're lacking.
And General Holt, I'm looking at U.S. Central Command, their Twitter post, now X, and it says that U.S. Central Command forces conducted strikes in self-defense against 6 Houthi anti-ship cruise missiles prepared to launch against ships in the Red Sea. U.S. forces identified the cruise missiles in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen and determined they presented an imminent threat to U.S. Navy ships and merchant vessels in the region. This action will protect freedom of navigation and make international waters safer. So what do you make of this CENTCOM saying that this was an act of self-defense?
Well, it is an act of self-defense, but it's a day late and a dollar short. What an underwhelming announcement. I mean, what the people we have to convince that freedom of navigation has been restored is Maersk cargo lines and all the other shipping that's been evaporated there, because right now only Chinese and Iranian and Russian ships can go through the ditch. So again, what's the strategy? I am all with Secretary Wilkie on what types of military cost impositions could be placed on Iran. Sink their Navy, take it away from them. But what we can't do is make the United States Navy look like a peer organization to these Houthis, because had we rolled them up at the first sign of trouble, you wouldn't see the economic devastation that now is going to be no reverse gear. Let's go to the Panama Canal. They're in dry season now. They're in a drought. They're only running at 25% of capacity because of the capability of the canal. That's going to go down from here. So anything that impacts the Suez Canal, we are all going to feel that.